standing in different ways than in a classical chess. For example, the bishop on a1, of course, you don't want to open up the line with d4 because it's supposed to be on c1, but b3 and b4 is a very logical move. So now that the bishop is on f1, you think it's a logical start to play e4 to open up the diagonal for that bishop?
Not that sure, because actually what they were analyzing that e4 c5 suddenly hits the h2 pawn. Yeah, so white has to lose a tempo on knight g3, and then black goes b5. I can even make those moves just so that we have exactly the same position.
Fight continues. A very obscure choice on the board right now as we're discussing. What it also does is vacate a nice little juicy square for the queen to land on and start eyeing the other side of the board. For example, if black was to make a very natural move, get that knight out, then your idea, combine the queen and the knight to put pressure on that weakened pawn, this could be extremely dangerous.
The queen, the knight, the bishop lined up. As you said, fried liver potential here. Hannibal Lecter sitting next to me. This could shape up nicely if Magnus gives him a helping hand, but currently this pawn is protected. I'm not sure it's the most useful move necessarily. It just depends how Magnus now wants to make the most of this one tempo he's been given.
And speaking of Magnus, he's been one of the players most gracious with his time in joining the confessional booth. He did step in just a few minutes ago, so let's hear what he had to say about this last round.
So I was looking at the position a little bit with Hikaru and Fabiano. We were mainly considering 1c4 before the game, which honestly looked a bit unpleasant. But then when e4 appeared on the board, my first thought was that, oh, this is even more unpleasant. Because I think the normal response generally would go for, in one order or another, to go for e5 and then c5. But I was really worried he was going to go like a4, b3. I didn't see any prospects for me really. Like, I can never really develop the knight to g6 because of bishop c4 and gains a tempo, and it just didn't look very good at all. So I felt forced to go for knight f6, which looks incredibly dangerous if he goes d4 now. But I guess I'll have to see what happens then. I guess I'll take e5, knight d5, and it doesn't seem losing, but that's about as positive as I can be. It's really maybe okay for black, but it feels quite dangerous.
So an evaluation of the position from Magnus, perhaps a4 not as big of a surprise to him as it was to us, as he cited a possible a4, b3 follow-up from his opponent, and we'll see how he responds. But as it was a surprise to us, I'm wondering, as we welcome Danny Reinsch back into the studio today to join us for one of our final rounds, whether or not you were surprised just with the matchups that we landed on when it comes to that top spot, Vincent Keimer and Fabiano, and Magnus falling down into the third place matchup.
Well, I think everybody is surprised when Magnus is not competing for first place at a tournament. So, elephant in the room, acknowledge. But, you watch Vincent, not just the game he won, but then how he handled himself yesterday when Magnus was doing Magnus things, and all of us are sitting there watching this slightly dubious opening become better, and then objectively probably winning for Magnus at one point, even if it was a little trickier.
to kind of find counterplay, and the position was very bad, but I was fighting back. He would say, okay, I'll make 3 moves. Let's see if your position improves, yeah?
You can play 3 moves, yes.
Yes. Well, and this is type of position where you can make 3-4 moves, but things don't improve. Because there is...
Yeah, but now we have the Sindarov Carlsen game on the board. And okay, we are basically thinking about, is Black able to finish the game off with rook d3, targeting the bishop on c3, the knight
Probably
on
he
f3?
would be going knight d4. No, he cannot.
Then queen g2 check.
G3. No, I wanted to go there, but the g3 is hanging also.
Rook d3, bishop d4, bishop d2 is trivial, I think.
Because rook f3 is not enough, or...
Queen a5, I don't want to calculate any moves. I'm telling to myself, I will not calculate.
So what was your line? The rook d3 on the board?
Bishop d4, bishop d2.
Just like this.
Let's exchange.
Yeah, bishop d4
Yeah, rook f3, queen a5, and black resigns, yeah, so it's a good trap. No, not resigns, bishop a6 is still there.
But okay, yeah, you don't want
You don't want this.
go in this
But then
direction.
bishop f3, yeah, no, you don't want that at all.
So Magnus is a type of player when he's completely winning, he doesn't like to calculate, yeah?
Maybe he goes king a8.
Queen d5, another move. I mean, there just everything wins. Queen d5 wins.
Queen d5 is nice, yes.
Yeah. Bishop d2 I like because it's classy. You're involving.
d5 on the board, yeah, this is the most
He
professional.
doesn't like to complicate matters.
Yes.
Magnus.
And I think we'll be seeing resignation. I don't see a move.
Yeah, this is gone.
Yeah. Hard to continue the game.
I think Magnus just outclassed Javokhir.
Yes. Giving up the central control with rook b1, rook b1 long castle, practically speaking, I felt that this is very difficult for white. And Magnus with perfect play, with incredible precision, yeah, and Sindarov designs, that's it, handshake.
And we see the first game of Sindarov and Magnus. The victory for the world number 1. He played a good game.
Yeah, he
played
played.
a
Okay,
very
this knight g6 was a sensational move, yeah, just giving up the s7 pawn
And I
like
think
that.
it's a big difference winning with white or black.
Exactly.
You know,